I wanted to actually start, before answering the questions, just to go back to freelance a little bit, because it's had so much resonance. And I keep getting, like, someone even reached out to me through the DMs on the Replica Props forum to thank me for talking about this stuff. And I realized it's so important to talk about it and to give perspective to young makers interested in making a living by making the things that we make. And one of the perspectives I wanted to give you today was about balancing what it takes you to make something versus what the market will bear. And for an example, I'll say, let's say there's a science fiction program that wants a hammer built. They just want a hammer. Let's say it's for The Expanse. Well, now The Expanse production can do one of several things. They can ask their prop master to make this hammer. The prop master may say, actually, it involves some aspects of design that I can't execute here, so I'm going to reach out to a small shop. It might be Mike Elizaldi's Spectral Motion. It might be Frank Ippolito. It might be Legacy Effects. All three of those places are going to generate different prices for making that hammer. But I think you'd be surprised at what the sort of low threshold to entry is for such a thing. If you are bringing a prop to a job shop like that, that's going to start at, like, in the thousands of dollars range. And that may sound excessive, but frankly, almost every prop that Prop Store sells at their auction houses is often going for a fraction of what that prop actually cost to build for the studio. I'll give you an example. If you wanted to, let's say, if a production asked you for a really nicely painted up model of a spaceship, of a science fiction spaceship, and that would take you 6 days to execute. 6 full days, let's say 60 hours. Let's say you're busting your ass. You're doing it all inside of a week. You're pulling 60 hours. You frankly should be paying yourself at least $500 a day for executing that. So that's 6 days. That's $3,000. And right away, I'm going to tell you that's not enough to execute a ship like that, because any of the places that they would be going would be charging more than that. I'm giving this example as just a way of lending some perspective, because when you are a young beginning maker, you have no idea what things cost. You have no idea what the market will bear and what the other options that are out there for that. When a theater calls you to make swords for them or a prop, when you're just starting out, you don't know how much those things cost to build. And this is where building relationships with other makers, other designers, other people who have small shops is such an important part of starting out in the making a living, in the making of things. Comparing notes with other professionals and really recognizing you'll find some people don't want to share their notes. You'll find some people don't want to tell you how they conduct their business. And that's fine. That is their prerogative. They don't have to share that with you. I'm a big believer in sharing as much as possible. It doesn't violate any of the non-disclosure agreements you've signed with clients, because I think that we all benefit when we talk about this stuff. So I guess one of the key pieces of advice I wanted to say to beginning makers, people just setting out to make a living doing the making that they're doing, is you're probably undervaluing your time and the expenses. Anytime you bid a job, you're going to be adding in the number of days. Don't calculate hours, only calculate by days. Figure out your per person day. I think it starts around $500 per person day is a reasonable place to start bidding out a job. Then you want to add a cash for materials. And if you come up with off the top of your head, oh, it's like $600 worth of materials, freaking double that. You're going to have shipping issues. If it's a time-sensitive thing, your cost multiplier for getting stuff quickly is going to go way up. And then at the end, you want to add, well, first you want to add sales tax appropriate to the state that you're in. And then contingency, like how is the client in the bidding process? If they're a pain in the ass in the bidding process, you might want to add a 30% contingency cost to this just to pad your budget so you have room to deal with a difficult client. When you are a difficult client, you're gonna pay more. And by difficult client, I don't mean you have to be unpleasant to work with. I've had plenty of clients I loved who were nonetheless difficult because it took them a long time to make decisions about stuff. That can be difficult, and that has a direct cost that you would not necessarily, when just starting out, be adding into your budget. All right, that's my little piece about freelancing. Let's get to some questions. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support us even further, you can by becoming a tested member. Details are, of course, below, but it includes all sorts of perks, and we're building them all the time. You get advanced Word and behind-the-scenes photos of some of our projects. Questions, you get to ask direct questions during my live streams, and we have some members-only videos, including the Adam real-time series of unbroken, unedited shots of me working here in the shop. They are weirdly meditative. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you on the next one.